Hi folks, it's Coach Kelvin here from the We Run Virtual Run Club and We Run Coach for Leeds and surrounding areas as well as online coaching. This little video was sparked off by a really good question by Nicola in the We Run Virtual Run Club Facebook group. And it was about strides. And the question was, Nicola's been looking into adding strides into a run-in and wondered if there was an audio version. And I kind of had a little bit of a think about this. It probably is possible to do an audio version for strides, but maybe not as easy as some other workouts for a few reasons. But I'm going to give it a go next week when I do my set of strides and see if it works. And I think I can post like an MP3 on the Facebook page. So let's see how that goes. I'm quite excited about that, doing my first recording an audio run, and I'm also a little bit nervous at the same time, but I'm sure it should be fun. But let's talk about strides because they're actually really useful. And the idea of strides, that can be done within an easy run, and the idea is that they don't really cause much muscle damage. It's more of a neurological stimulus. So in other words, it's making better use of the muscles that we've already got. An analogy that I use sometimes, imagine if somebody's car has a flat battery and it needs a push, and there's 5 people to push that car, and they all just sort of walk up willy-nilly and put their hands on it and push as hard as they can at slightly different times. The car won't go very quickly. But if everybody gets together at once and gets their hands on the car and says, like, after 3 we're all going to push, 1, 2, 3, and everybody pushes together, the car's going to go much faster. So it's exactly the same pool of strength, but just used more effectively. And that's what strides are doing. The short bursts of very fast pace running to help drive those sort of neurological connections to the muscles and the timing of that firing between different muscle groups. So strides have their challenges. One of the main challenges is to get that neurological stimulus and therefore adaptation. They need to be done fairly close to max velocity. So as you can imagine, the challenge there, if a runner's not used to max velocity running and tries to run like as hard as they possibly can for 30 meters, they're really, really likely to pull a muscle. So sometimes with runners, we build up to strides over long periods of time. It might be 3 to 6 months of just kind of like changing the stimulus, shortening the reps, increasing the speed, and maybe starting off with something that feels a little bit too easy. So let's chat first about what we're actually trying to achieve eventually. So strides, as I mentioned, are very short bursts of very fast running, and they're usually done over a distance of about 30 to 50 meters. But the actual rep is 100 meters, so we've got time to just sort of build up to pace, hold that fast pace for 30 meters, and then gradually decrease the pace. And we want to do these on a very, very slight uphill, if anything. So the ideal place to do them is a football or a rugby pitch, because that's about 100 meters, and just kind of like eyeball up and down and see which looks like the slight uphill. And that's the way that you're going to do the effort. So you want to do it in the middle of an easy run. And what I recommend is maybe the sort of 500 meters to kilometer before you do strides, maybe just increase the pace a little bit or add a few little surges in just to get the body warmed up. And it might be an idea before strides just to do a bit of easy mobility as well. Maybe just do a few leg swings, a little bit of marching on the spot, maybe some sort of A skips. Again, just trying to like get those neurological connections firing and get the body to keep that posterior chain, so the muscles behind us, nice and stiff, because that's what we want out of strides. We want a stiff posterior chain to get that elastic recoil as well as the neurological firing. So we run the stride, so we build up to speed, hold a fast but fluid pace for about 30 meters, and then decrease gradually. And then we walk slowly back because we want full recovery. So full recovery wants to be probably around 3 minutes. So it's 3 minutes recovery off like a 10 to 15 second effort. And that seems like a lot, but we really need to make sure that each individual stride is of the highest quality to get the right training stimulus. And we might build up eventually to something like doing like 2 sets of, sorry, when I say sets, I mean in 2 different runs, not 2 sets. So 1 set in 2 easy runs. So you'll do strides twice a week, and you might build up to sort of 6 or 7 strides. But that's not where we're going to start. We're not going to start with 6 or 7 strides in 2 runs at max velocity. We might start with 4 strides in 1 run, where we sort of run that effort in the little bit in the middle, the 30 meters, at a pace that you could hold for like 2 or 3k. So something that just feels a little bit faster than your 5k pace. And you might do that for, maybe 3 or 4 weeks before you then increase to maybe 5 strides and then 6 strides, and then maybe do them in 2 runs and do 2 sets of 3, 1 set of 4, 1 set of 3, 2 sets of 4. Maybe build it up so you're doing, if you've never done strides before, maybe build it up so you're doing 2 sets. Sorry, I'm saying sets. If anybody's a track runner, they'll be thinking that it's actually within the same workout. So in 2 runs, build up to about 4 strides in each of those easy runs, and then start increasing the pace slightly over time. And this can take, 3 to 6 months before you're, doing the stride to get that neurological stimulus. But you will be getting something as soon as you start those. And as well as the neurological stimulus, it's also mobility. So the best mobility that we can do for running is faster pace running. The best way to do it is a fast pace of running that doesn't really damage the muscles, so it can be done on a fairly frequent basis. So I hope that makes some sort of sense. And if you have any questions, please just kind of pop them down in the comments below. And for now, happy running!